There are moments, rare moments, when heaven does not whisper, when it does not wait, when it does not gently nudge your spirit and hope you eventually understand. There are moments when heaven interrupts, and if right now is one of those moments, the voice you are about to hear is not calm, is not distant, it is not symbolic, it is breaking. Archangel Michael, the warrior who has stood unshaken before chaos, the protector who has never trembled before darkness, is not standing in silence today. He is not watching from afar. He is not waiting for you to figure things out on your own. He is crying. Yes, crying. And not out of weakness, but out of urgency so intense, so overwhelming, that even heaven itself is pressing in closer to you right now. Can you feel it? That strange pull in your chest, that sudden stillness around you, that feeling like something just shifted without explanation. You didn't come here casually. You didn't just scroll and land here randomly. Something pulled you in. Something stopped you. Something said, "Listen right now." That was not coincidence. That was a summons. Because there is something happening around you. Something forming, something aligning, something moving. And you are standing right at the edge of it without even realizing how close it truly is. And Michael sees it. He sees what's coming. He sees what's opening. He sees the miracle that is literally beginning to take shape in front of your life, not years from now, not someday, not if things go right, but now. And that is why his voice is breaking. Because you are closer than you think, but also more distracted than you realize. Listen carefully. There is a reason you've been feeling different lately. A reason your thoughts have been heavier, your spirit more alert, your emotions harder to explain. A reason why certain things suddenly don't feel right anymore, why some conversations feel empty, why some places feel draining. It's because your spirit is being pulled toward something greater while the world around you is trying to keep you exactly where you've always been. And right in the middle of that tension, that invisible tug-of-war, stands Archangel Michael. Not with a sword raised in battle, but with a voice filled with urgency, calling your name. Because the miracle that is approaching you does not wait forever. Let that sink in. Not every blessing is permanent in its timing. Not every open door stays open. Not every divine moment lingers until you're ready. Some moments are windows, and this is a window. A narrow, sacred, time-sensitive opening that heaven has aligned specifically for you, and it is beginning to close faster than you think. This is why you feel restless. This is why you can't fully relax. This is why something inside you keeps saying, "Pay attention, something is happening." Because something is happening. Right now, unseen forces are shifting. Paths are aligning. Opportunities are forming. Protection is being placed around you in ways you cannot yet see. But here's the truth that Michael is crying out to you. If you remain distracted, if you brush this off, if you delay just a little longer, you might miss the very thing you've been praying for. And that is what breaks his voice. Because he has seen too many walk away at the exact moment heaven was about to move. Too many hesitate at the edge of breakthrough. Too many ignore the call and then wonder why the door closed. And he refuses to let that be your story. So he cries out, not to scare you, not to pressure you, but to wake you, to shake you out of the noise, the routine, the endless distractions that have slowly numbed your awareness. Because you are not here to live on autopilot. You are here to receive something. Something big. Something life-altering. Something that will not just change your situation but shift your entire direction. And it is closer than you think. Closer than you've ever been. But the window is closing. So listen closely now. closer than you've ever listened before, because what comes next will reveal why you were chosen to hear this message and what makes this moment so critical for you. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you feel this message awakening something inside you. Lesson code 777 is now activating around your life. You need to understand something right now, and you need to understand it deeply. This message did not find you by accident. Out of all the voices, all the noise, all the endless distractions surrounding your life, something in you paused. Something in you listened. Something in you recognized that this was not ordinary. That recognition is not random. That recognition is the very evidence that you were chosen to hear this at this exact moment. Because not everyone would stop here. Not everyone would feel this pull. Not everyone would sense that something bigger is happening beneath the surface. Many would scroll past. Many would ignore it. Many would dismiss it as just another message. But you didn't. You're still here. And that is the first sign of your spiritual sensitivity awakening. You have always been different, whether you fully accepted it or not. There has always been something within you that feels deeper than the surface. Something that notices what others overlook. Something that senses shifts before they happen. You may have tried to ignore it. You may have questioned it. You may have even silenced it at times just to fit into environments that didn't understand you. But it never left you. That inner awareness, that quiet knowing, it has always been there, waiting for a moment like this. And this is that moment. Because heaven does not speak randomly. Heaven speaks intentionally. Messages like this are not scattered carelessly. They are directed. They are guided. They are aligned with timing so precise that even you cannot fully see how perfectly everything has come together to bring you here right now. Every delay you experienced, every detour you took, every moment where things didn't make sense, they were not accidents. They were positioning you, aligning you, preparing you. You were being moved into place. There is something about your spirit that can still hear, even when the world is loud, even when life becomes overwhelming, even when doubt creeps in, even when everything feels uncertain. You still have the ability to recognize truth when it calls you. That is why you are here. That is why this message feels different. That is why something inside you is saying, pay attention. Don't ignore this. Because you are not just a listener in this moment. You are a participant. The miracle that is forming is not general. It is not distant. It is not meant for someone out there. It is connected to you. Your life. Your decisions. Your awareness. And heaven needed someone who would actually respond, not just hear. Someone who would feel the urgency, not just acknowledge it. Someone who would act when called, not delay until it was too late. That someone is you. But here is the truth that makes this even more critical. You were not just chosen because you are ready. You were chosen because you are on the edge. The edge of change. The edge of breakthrough. The edge of something that could either transform your life or pass you by depending on what you do next. And that edge is where most people hesitate. That edge is where doubt becomes louder. That edge is where distractions suddenly increase. That edge is where old patterns try to pull you back into what is familiar, even when you know you are meant for something greater. Have you noticed it? Have you felt that strange tension lately? Like something is trying to move you forward, but something else keeps trying to hold you in place. That is not random. That is the exact moment where destiny and delay collide. And in that moment, heaven looks for those who will not turn away, those who will not ignore the call, those who will not allow fear, confusion, or comfort to override what their spirit is telling them. That is why you were chosen. Because despite everything, despite the noise, despite the doubts, despite the distractions. You are still here. You are still listening. You are still open. And that openness is what heaven can work with. That awareness is what activates movement. That willingness is what unlocks what is already trying to reach you. You were not chosen because you are perfect. You were not chosen because you have everything figured out. You were chosen because something inside you still says yes when truth calls your name. Even if that yes is quiet. Even if that yes is uncertain. Even if that yes is trembling. It is still a yes. And heaven responds to that. Right now, there is alignment happening around you because of that yes. Things are shifting into place because you did not turn away. Because you did not ignore the call. Because you allowed yourself to pause and listen when it mattered most. But understand this clearly, being chosen does not mean the moment will wait. It means the moment has arrived. And now, everything depends on what you do with it. So stay with this. Stay focused. Stay present. Because what is forming around you right now is not just important. It is time sensitive. And what comes next will reveal the miracle that is already beginning to take shape right in front of you. Type "I was chosen" in the comments if you feel this truth resonating within you. Blessing code 222 is now lining your path with divine timing. There is something you must understand right now, and it may challenge everything you thought you knew about timing, about waiting, about when things finally begin to change. The miracle you have been hoping for, praying for, wondering about. It is not something that is coming someday in the distant future. It is not something that is waiting for the perfect moment to begin. It has already started. It is already forming. It is already moving toward you even as you listen to these words. And that is why this moment feels different. You have been conditioned to believe that miracles arrive suddenly, that they appear out of nowhere, that one day everything is the same, and the next day everything changes. But what you were never told is that before every visible miracle, there is an invisible movement. Before every breakthrough you can touch, there is a process you cannot see. And right now, that unseen process is already unfolding around your life. Something has shifted. You may not have clear evidence yet. You may not have physical proof. But deep inside, there has been a subtle change, a quiet shift in your awareness, a feeling that something is no longer the same. That feeling is not imagination. That feeling is confirmation. It is the first sign that the miracle has already begun its journey toward you. Think about the past few days, the past few weeks. Something has been different. Maybe your thoughts have been more intense. Maybe your emotions have been harder to explain. Maybe situations that once felt normal suddenly feel uncomfortable, out of place, no longer aligned with who you are becoming. That is not coincidence. That is preparation. Because when a miracle begins to form, it does not just change your circumstances, it begins by changing you. It begins by shifting your mindset, by pulling you away from what no longer serves you, by creating distance between you and the patterns that would prevent you from fully receiving what is coming. That is why things may feel uncertain right now. That is why clarity feels just out of reach. Because you are in the middle of transition. You are standing between what was and what is about to be. And in that space, everything feels unstable. But that instability is not failure. It is movement. You are not stuck. You are being repositioned. Right now, unseen forces are aligning details you cannot yet see. Conversations are being prepared. Opportunities are being shaped. Doors are being positioned in ways that will soon make sense, even if they feel confusing right now. You may think nothing is happening, but in reality, everything is happening beneath the surface. This is the part most people misunderstand. They give up here. They walk away here. They lose faith here because they cannot see the progress. They cannot measure it. They cannot prove it. And because they cannot see it, they assume it is not real. But you are not most people. You are being asked to trust what you feel before you can see it. To recognize that the shift within you is the evidence that something outside of you is already moving. To understand that miracles do not begin when you notice them. They begin long before that, in silence, in stillness, in spaces you cannot yet reach. And right now, yours has already begun. This is why Archangel Michael's urgency is so intense. Because he sees the full picture. He sees how close everything is. He sees how the pieces are coming together. And he also sees how easy it would be for you to miss it. Not because it isn't happening, but because you might not recognize it in time. The miracle will not arrive with a loud announcement. It will not come with a warning. It will unfold quickly, suddenly, in a way that feels almost too perfect to be coincidence. And when it does, you must be ready to step into it without hesitation. Because this is not just about receiving something. This is about recognizing the moment when it arrives. And that moment is closer than you think. Everything you have been through, every delay, every confusion, every unanswered question, it has all been leading to this alignment. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. It was all preparation for what is now forming around you. But here is the truth you cannot ignore. The miracle is already in motion, but the window to fully step into it is limited. That is why you must stay alert. That is why you must stay aware. That is why you cannot allow distractions, doubts, or delays to pull you away now. Because you are not waiting anymore. You are approaching. And what you do in this next moment will determine whether you step into what has already been prepared or watch it pass you by. Type "I receive the miracle" in the comments if you are ready to align with what is already forming around you. Blessing code 333 is now activating divine movement in your life. And as this miracle begins to form around you, understand this. Every seed you release becomes a doorway for another soul to encounter this same divine awakening. This is not about supporting a channel. This is about fueling a spiritual assignment that reaches hearts right at the moment they are about to give up. The word says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days." And right now, heaven is inviting you into that living promise. If you feel the stirring within you, this is your moment to act, your moment to sow into something eternal. Your giving becomes light in someone else's darkness, a voice in someone else's silence, a breakthrough in someone else's waiting. I speak this over you now. As you give, heaven responds, multiplying what you release back into your life with increase and favor. The PayPal link is waiting in the description, and the QR code is right there on your screen. This is not coincidence. This is divine alignment. Step into obedience, release your seed, and become part of what God is doing right now. There is a truth you must face right now, and it is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you with absolute clarity. This moment you are standing in is not permanent. It is not something you can return to later. It is not something that will patiently wait while you decide if you are ready. The window that has opened in your life is real. It is active, and it is already beginning to close. This is where many people misunderstand divine timing. They assume that if something is meant for them, it will always remain available. They believe that opportunities, breakthroughs, and miracles will simply wait until they feel comfortable enough to step forward. But that is not how alignment works. That is not how divine windows operate. Some moments are designed with urgency. Some blessings are attached to timing so precise that hesitation itself becomes the very thing that causes them to slip away. And this is one of those moments. Right now, there is a narrow opening in front of you. You may not be able to see its full shape yet, but you can feel it. That pressure, that restlessness, that sense that something is shifting faster than you can fully process. That is the awareness of time moving. Not ordinary time, but divine timing. A moment where everything is aligned, everything is prepared, everything is ready to move forward, but only if you move with it. If you pause too long, if you delay just a little more, if you allow distractions to pull your attention away, the alignment begins to shift. The moment begins to pass, and what was once perfectly positioned starts to move out of reach, not because it was taken from you, but because it was not met in time. This is why Archangel Michael is not calm. This is why his voice carries urgency, because he sees how close you are, but he also sees how quickly this moment can be missed if you remain passive. You have already seen this pattern before, even if you did not fully recognize it at the time. Moments where something felt right, something felt aligned, something felt like it could change everything, but you hesitated. You waited. You questioned. You told yourself you would come back to it later. And later it was no longer the same. The opportunity had shifted. The door had quietly closed. And you were left wondering what happened. Nothing was taken from you. The moment simply moved forward without you. This is what makes the situation different. This is why you are being warned now, before it is too late. Because this time, you are aware. This time, you are being told clearly. This is not a moment to delay. This is not a moment to second-guess what your spirit is already telling you. This is a moment to act with clarity, with confidence, with trust in what is unfolding around you. Time is not working against you, but it is not waiting for you either. It is moving, and you must move with it. The challenge is not just external. It is internal. The greatest threat to this moment is not something outside of you. It is hesitation within you. Doubt that causes you to pause. Fear that makes you question. Comfort that convinces you to stay where you are instead of stepping into what is next. Those are the real obstacles. Because the window does not close with noise. It does not announce its ending. It closes quietly, gradually, almost unnoticed until it is already gone. And by the time most people realize it, they are no longer in the same position. The alignment has shifted. The moment has passed. But you are not most people. You are being shown this now so you can respond differently. Right now, you are standing in a moment that is alive with potential. Everything is ready. Everything is aligned. Everything is moving toward manifestation. But the final step, the step that brings it fully into your life, requires your participation. It requires your awareness. It requires your willingness to act when it matters most. This is not about rushing blindly. It is about recognizing clearly. Recognizing that this is not just another day. This is not just another moment that will repeat itself later. This is a turning point. A precise intersection where what you choose now will determine what unfolds next. You cannot afford to drift through this. You cannot afford to treat this like something you will figure out later. You must be present. You must be aware. You must be ready to respond when the moment calls you forward. Because it will. And when it does, there will not be time to overthink. There will not be time to hesitate. There will only be the opportunity to step into what has already been prepared, or to watch it pass. This is the reality of the closing window. It is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create focus. So focus now. Pay attention now. Stay aligned now. Because what is coming next will reveal what has been trying to stop you from stepping fully into this moment and why the resistance has been stronger than usual. Type "I will not miss this moment" in the comments if you are choosing awareness over delay. Lesson code 444 is now strengthening your clarity and timing. There is something you must see clearly now. Something that has been quietly operating beneath the surface of your life. Something that has made this moment feel heavier, slower, more confusing than it should be. What you have been experiencing is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not simply life being difficult. There hath been resistance. Subtle, calculated, and persistent resistance trying to keep you from stepping into what is already forming around you. And the most dangerous part about it is this: it does not always look like resistance. It does not always appear as obvious obstacles or direct opposition. Sometimes it shows up as distraction. Sometimes it feels like doubt. Sometimes it comes disguised as comfort, convincing you to stay where you are instead of moving forward. And sometimes it even comes through people, situations, or habits that seem familiar, safe, and normal, but are quietly pulling you away from alignment. That is why it has been so difficult to recognize. Because if the resistance were obvious, you would have already removed it. If it were loud, you would have already confronted it. But instead, it has been subtle, almost invisible, working in small ways, consistent ways, just enough to slow you down without making you fully aware of what is happening. Think about the patterns you have noticed recently. Moments where you felt clarity, where something inside you said, "This is the direction. This is the step. This is what you need to do." And then, almost immediately, something interrupted that clarity. A distraction appeared. A doubt entered your mind. A situation pulled your attention somewhere else. And before you realized it, the moment passed, and you were back in the same place, wondering why it felt so hard to move forward. That is not accidental. That is resistance doing exactly what it was designed to do, not to destroy you, but to delay you. Because delay is often enough. If you can be kept waiting, if you can be kept uncertain, if you can be kept distracted just long enough, you begin to question yourself. You begin to hesitate. You begin to lose the momentum that was building within you. And over time, that hesitation becomes your normal state, making it easier and easier to stay where you are instead of stepping into what is next. But here is what you must understand right now. You are not being resisted because you are weak. You are being resisted because you are close. Close to something that matters. Close to something that will shift your life in a way that cannot be reversed. Close to a moment that will change the direction you have been walking in for so long. And that closeness creates pressure. The closer you get, the stronger the resistance becomes. That is why everything feels more intense now. That is why distractions seem more frequent. That is why doubt feels louder than usual. That is why even small decisions feel heavier, as if they carry more weight than they should. Because they do. You are no longer in an ordinary moment. You are in a decisive one. And resistance always increases at the point of decision. But there is something even more important you need to realize. The resistance you are facing does not have the power to stop you unless you allow it to. It can slow you down. It can confuse you. It can make things feel more difficult than they need to be. But it cannot override your awareness. It cannot control your choices. It cannot take away what is already aligned for you unless you step away from it yourself. That is why awareness is everything right now. The moment you recognize the resistance for what it is, it begins to lose its influence. The moment you see that the distractions are not random, that the doubts are not your true voice, that the delays are not permanent, you regain control of your direction. And that is exactly what this moment is asking of you. To stop moving unconsciously, to stop reacting automatically, to stop allowing every distraction to pull you away from what you already know you need to do. Because you do know. Deep down, beneath the noise, beneath the confusion, beneath the hesitation, you already know the direction you are being pulled toward. You already feel what is right. You already sense what needs to change, what needs to shift, what needs to be released so you can move forward. The resistance has just been trying to make you question it. But now, you see it. Now, you understand that the struggle you have been feeling is not a sign to stop. It is a sign to move with more clarity, with more intention, with more awareness than ever before. Because this is the moment where everything begins to shift. Not when the resistance disappears, but when you stop allowing it to control your response. You are not here to fight the resistance with force. You are here to move through it with awareness, to recognize it, and then continue forward anyway. Because what is ahead of you is stronger than anything trying to hold you back. And as you step into that awareness, as you begin to move with clarity instead of confusion, you will start to see something change, not just around you, but within you. A strength you did not realize you had, a focus you have not felt in a long time, a certainty that replaces hesitation. And that is when the resistance begins to break. Not because it disappears, but because it no longer has influence over you. Stay aware, stay focused, stay aligned. Because what comes next will reveal why Archangel Michael's emotion is so intense and why this moment matters more than you realize. Type ISC the resistance in the comments if you are choosing awareness over distraction. Blessing code 555 is now strengthening your discernment and inner clarity. You must pause here for a moment because what you are about to understand is deeper than urgency, deeper than warning, deeper than anything that has been revealed so far. The reason Archangel Michael is not standing in silence, the reason his voice is not steady, the reason there is emotion in his presence right now, it is not because something has gone wrong. It is because something is about to go right and he knows how close you are to either receiving it or missing it. This is not weakness. This is not fear. This is the weight of knowing. Michael sees what you cannot yet fully see. He sees the outcome already written. He sees the doors that are about to open, the shift that is about to take place, the miracle that is already aligned with your name. He sees how everything you have been through has led to this exact moment. And he also sees how fragile this moment is, not in its power, but in its timing. Because timing is where everything can change. Imagine standing at the edge of something life-changing, something you have waited for, something that would answer questions you have carried for so long, and then imagine being just one step away, yet hesitating at the exact moment that step is required. That is the tension Michael is witnessing right now. That is the weight he is carrying. He is not crying because you are lost. He is crying because you are close. Closer than you have ever been before. Closer than you realize. And that closeness carries a responsibility. It requires awareness. It requires presence. It requires you to be fully awake to what is happening, not partially engaged, not distracted, not uncertain. Because the closer you get to a breakthrough, the more precise your alignment must become. Michael understands something that many people do not. Most people do not miss their moment because they were incapable. They miss it because they were unaware. Because they treated a critical moment like it was ordinary. Because they allowed doubt to speak louder than their inner knowing. Because they hesitated just long enough for the window to begin closing. and he has seen it happen too many times. He has watched people stand at the edge of transformation and turn back. He has watched opportunities arrive and go unrecognized. He has watched miracles unfold just out of reach because the one meant to receive them did not step forward in time. And he refuses to watch that happen to you. That is where the emotion comes from. It is not just about this moment. It is about everything that led to it. Every challenge you endured. Every moment you felt uncertain. Every time you questioned whether anything was truly changing. All of that have been building toward this point. And now that you are here, now that everything is aligned, now that the miracle is within reach, this is not the time to fall back into hesitation. But he can see the tension within you. He can see the part of you that still questions, that still wonders, that still hesitates just enough to slow your movement. He can see how the past has shaped your responses, how previous disappointments have made you cautious, how uncertainty has made you careful, and he understands it. But he also knows this moment is different. This is not a repetition of what you have experienced before. This is not another situation that will lead to the same outcome. This is a new alignment, a new opportunity, a new opening that requires a different response. And that response cannot come from fear. It cannot come from hesitation. It must come from clarity, from trust, from the willingness to move when everything within you says, "This is it." That is why his voice carries urgency. That is why his presence feels intense. Because he is not speaking to you from a place of distance. He is standing right at the edge of this moment with you, urging you forward, calling you into awareness, refusing to let you drift past this without recognizing what it truly is. You are not alone in this. You are being guided, watched, supported in ways you may not fully understand yet. But guidance alone is not enough if it is not followed. Support alone is not enough if it is not received. Awareness alone is not enough if it does not lead to action. That is the turning point you are standing in right now. Michael is not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be present, to listen, to recognize, to respond. Because everything that is forming around you is real, and everything that is approaching you is closer than you think. And this moment, this exact moment, is where everything begins to shift. So do not pull back now. Do not retreat into hesitation now. Do not allow the weight of the past to interfere with what is being placed in front of you. Because what you are stepping into is not something uncertain. It is something prepared, and you are ready for it, whether you fully realize it yet or not. Type "I am ready to receive" in the comments if you are choosing to move forward without hesitation. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you with courage and divine strength. There is something you need to face honestly now, not with guilt, not with regret, but with clarity. This is not the first time you have been guided toward this moment. This is not the first time something within you tried to get your attention. Long before you reached this point, long before this message found you, there were signs. Quiet signs, subtle signals, moments that felt small at the time, but now, if you look back, they begin to connect in a way that is impossible to ignore. You were not unaware because nothing was happening. You were unaware because it did not look the way you expected. Think back. There were moments where something told you to pause, to rethink, to shift your direction slightly. It did not come as a loud voice. It did not force itself into your awareness. It came gently, almost like a thought that didn't fully belong to you, a feeling that didn't quite make sense, a nudge that you could easily dismiss. And many times you did. Not because you were careless, but because it felt too subtle to trust. It did not match logic. It did not come with clear evidence. It did not explain itself in a way that your mind could immediately understand. So you questioned it. You hesitated. You told yourself you would think about it later. But later never came. And the moment passed. Then there were other signs. Repetition. Patterns that kept showing up in your life in ways that seemed coincidental at first. The same kind of situations appearing again and again. The same lessons repeating themselves, as if something was trying to show you what needed to change, what needed to be seen differently, what needed your attention more than anything else. But repetition is easy to ignore when you are busy. It is easy to overlook when you are focused on everything else around you. So the pattern continued not to frustrate you, but to guide you. There were also moments of discomfort. Moments where something no longer felt right, even though it had once been familiar. Conversations that drained you. Environments that suddenly felt heavy. Situations that no longer aligned with who you were becoming, even if you could not fully explain why. That discomfort was not random. It was direction. It was your awareness trying to move you away from what could no longer support where you were being led. But instead of seeing it as guidance, it may have felt like confusion. It may have felt like instability. It may have made you question yourself, wondering why things that once felt normal no longer felt the same. And so you tried to adjust. You tried to make sense of it. You tried to stay where you were, even when something inside you was quietly pulling you forward. Then there were the moments of clarity. Brief, powerful, undeniable clarity where everything seemed to make sense all at once. Where you suddenly saw what needed to change, what needed to happen, what direction you were meant to move in. Those moments were real. Those moments were accurate. But they did not last long. Because immediately after clarity came doubt, questions, overthinking, the need to analyze, to understand every detail before taking a step. And in that process, the clarity faded, not because it was wrong, but because it was not acted on. And so the cycle continued. Guidance, hesitation, delay. Guidance, hesitation, delay. Until now. Because now, everything is being brought together. Every sign, every nudge, every moment of discomfort, every moment of clarity, they were all leading to this point. They were all preparing you to recognize this moment when it finally arrived in a way you could not ignore. This is different. This is not subtle anymore. This is not something you can easily dismiss or explain away. This is direct. This is clear. And this is why it feels stronger than anything before. Because the signs have been building, increasing, becoming more noticeable, more persistent, more difficult to ignore. Not to overwhelm you, but to ensure that when the moment truly mattered, you would not miss it. And that moment is now. You are no longer in a place where you can say you did not know. You are no longer in a place where you can say it was unclear. You are being shown directly, clearly, urgently. But this is where everything changes. Because recognizing the signs is not enough. Understanding them is not enough. What matters now is what you do with them. Will you continue the pattern of hesitation? Or will you respond differently this time? Because everything that has happened up until now had been preparation for this exact decision. You have been guided. You have been shown. You have been made aware. And now, you are being called to act with the clarity you have already been given. This is the moment where the pattern breaks. Not because the signs stop, but because you finally respond to them. And as you do, something shifts. Not just around you, but within you. A certainty replaces doubt. A direction replaces confusion. A readiness replaces hesitation. And that is when everything begins to move faster. Because once you align with what you have already been shown, the path ahead becomes clearer than ever before. Stay present in this. Stay aware. Because what comes next will reveal the one decision that will determine everything. Type I see the signs in the comments if you are ready to respond differently this time. Blessing code 777 is now activating clarity and decisive action within you. There comes a moment in every transformation, a moment so precise, so defining, that everything begins to hinge on a single choice. Not 100 decisions. Not a complicated plan. Just one. One clear, undeniable decision that separates what could happen from what actually will happen. And you are standing in that moment right now. This is where everything becomes real. Up until this point, you have been observing, feeling, recognizing, becoming aware. You have seen the signs. You have felt the shifts. You have understood that something is different, that something is forming, that something is calling you forward. But awareness alone does not activate the miracle. Awareness only prepares you for the decision that does. And that decision is simple, even if it does not feel easy. Will you move forward or will you hesitate again? That is it. That is the dividing line between stepping into what has already been prepared for you or watching it remain just out of reach. Because here is the truth that cannot be softened. You already know what needs to change. You already feel what direction you are being pulled toward. There is something specific, something clear, something undeniable within you that has been quietly, consistently calling for your attention. It may be a step you have been avoiding. It may be a choice you have been delaying. It may be a shift you know is necessary, but have not fully committed to yet. You have felt it more than once. You have thought about it more than once. You have even come close to acting on it before, but something held you back. That something was hesitation. And hesitation is the only thing standing between you and what is already aligned for you. Because the miracle does not require perfection. It does not require you to have every detail figured out. It does not require you to feel completely confident or completely ready. What it requires is movement. A decision that says, I am no longer staying where I am. That is the activation point. The moment you stop waiting for certainty and choose to move with the clarity you already have. This is why this decision matters so much. Not because it is complicated, but because it is powerful. It shifts your position and changes your alignment. It moves you from observation into participation. And everything begins to respond to that shift. Doors that felt distant begin to open. Clarity that felt unclear begins to sharpen. Opportunities that felt out of reach begin to move closer. Not because they were not there before, but because now you are in position to receive them. This is what most people misunderstand. They think the miracle happens first, and then they respond. But in reality, the response comes first. The decision comes first. And the miracle meets you in that movement. That is why this moment feels so intense. That is why everything is building toward this point. Because once you make this decision, everything accelerates. Everything begins to move in a way that cannot be slowed down by hesitation anymore. But until that decision is made, everything remains in potential. Waiting. Aligned but not activated. Ready but not received. And that is where you are right now, standing at the edge of activation. This is not about doing everything at once. This is not about forcing a result. This is about choosing, clearly and intentionally, to move forward with what you already know. To trust that inner knowing that has been guiding you. To act on the clarity that has been shown to you. To step out of the cycle of delay and into the momentum of action. Because once you do, something shifts instantly. Not gradually, not eventually, instantly. A sense of direction replaces confusion. A sense of peace replaces uncertainty. A sense of movement replaces stagnation. And that is when you know you have crossed the threshold. You are no longer waiting. You are now moving with what has already been set in motion. This is the one decision, the one moment, the one step that changes everything. And it is in your hands right now. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not delay it. Do not question it into silence. You already know what it is. Now is the moment to act on it. Type "I choose to move forward" in the comments if you are ready to activate what has already been prepared for you. Blessing code 888 is now unlocking momentum and divine acceleration in your life. And as you stand at this moment of decision, understand this. Every step you take in alignment not only shifts your life, but becomes a light for someone else who is still searching in the dark. This is more than a message. This is a living stream of truth reaching souls at the exact moment they need it. The word declares, "Those who sow in faith will reap in abundance." And right now, your giving becomes a seed that multiplies beyond what you can see. If you feel the call within you, this is your moment to act. Not later, not someday, but now. Your support through PayPal, waiting in the description, and through the QR code on your screen, becomes a divine act that carries this message further than you could ever imagine. I declare this over you. As you release your seed, heaven opens pathways you did not know existed. Step into this prophetic moment, give with intention, and become part of the miracle that is reaching countless lives right now. There is something happening right now that you cannot fully see with your eyes, but you can feel it in your spirit if you pay close attention. The intensity you have been experiencing, the pressure that seems to rise without clear explanation, the sudden weight that comes and goes, it is not random. It is not just emotional. It is not just circumstantial. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual battle that is reaching its peak. This is what happens when something significant is about to shift. Before every major breakthrough, there is a moment where everything feels amplified. Thoughts become louder. Distractions become stronger. Doubts feel more convincing than usual. Even simple decisions begin to feel heavier, as if they carry more importance than before. That is not because you are losing clarity. It is because the moment itself has become more critical. You are no longer approaching change. You are standing at the edge of it. And when you reach that edge, everything intensifies. This is where many people become overwhelmed. They mistake the pressure for a sign to step back. They interpret the resistance as a signal that something is wrong. They assume that because things feel difficult, they must not be on the right path. But the truth is the opposite. The intensity you are feeling is confirmation. It is evidence that something real is happening, something important is unfolding, something that requires your full attention and awareness. Because if this moment did not matter, there would be no resistance. If this shift was not significant, there would be no pressure. The battle increases because the outcome matters. And right now, the outcome matters more than you realize. There are forces working to keep you exactly where you have been. Not because you belong there, but because staying there is predictable. It is familiar. It requires no change, no growth, no movement. But the moment you begin to move beyond that, the moment you begin to step into something greater, everything that depends on your stagnation begins to react. That reaction is what you are feeling now. It shows up in small ways. A sudden loss of focus when you need clarity the most. A wave of doubt when you were just beginning to feel certain. a distraction that pulls your attention away at the exact moment you were about to act. These are not coincidences. These are attempts to interrupt your momentum, because momentum is dangerous to anything that tries to keep you still. And you have begun to build momentum. Even being here, even listening, even recognizing what is happening, that is movement. That is progress. That is a shift away from where you were before. And now, everything is trying to slow that movement down just enough to keep you from crossing the threshold. But here is what you must understand. This is the peak. This is not the beginning of the struggle. This is the final stretch before the shift. And that means something very important. It means you are not far away. It means you are not starting over. It means you are closer than you have ever been before. The pressure feels stronger because you are nearer to the breakthrough. The resistance feels heavier because you are about to move beyond it. The distractions feel more persistent because your focus is becoming more powerful. This is the moment where everything tries one last time to pull you back into hesitation. And this is also the moment where you must decide not to go back. Because if you can remain steady here, if you can stay aware here, if you can continue moving forward even when everything feels intensified, something begins to change very quickly. The pressure begins to break. The resistance begins to weaken. The clarity begins to return, stronger than before. And suddenly, what felt overwhelming just moments ago begins to lose its hold on you. That is the turning point. Not when the battle disappears, but when you move through it without losing your direction. You are not being asked to fight harder. You are being asked to stay aligned, to recognize that what you are experiencing is temporary, but what you are moving toward is lasting. To understand that this intensity is not here to stop you. It is here to test whether you will continue. And you will. Because you are aware now. Because you understand what is happening. Because you can see that this is not random. This is not meaningless. This is not something to fear. This is confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. So stay grounded in that. Stay focused in that. Stay present in that. Because what comes next will reveal what happens if this moment is missed and why your response right now determines everything that follows. Type "I stand firm" in the comments if you are choosing to move through this moment without turning back. Blessing code 999 is now strengthening your endurance and spiritual stability. There is something you need to hear with complete honesty now, not softened, not hidden, not turned into something comfortable just to make it easier to accept. This moment you are standing in carries weight. It carries consequence. And what you choose to do here will shape what comes next in ways that cannot be ignored. This is not about fear. This is about clarity. Because missing a moment like this does not mean everything disappears forever. It does not mean your life stops. It does not mean you are abandoned or left behind. But it does mean something shifts. It means the alignment that has been carefully building begins to move without you. It means the timing changes. It means what could have happened now becomes something that may take longer, require more, or arrive in a different way than it was meant to. And that difference matters. Because what is available in this moment is not just about the outcome. It is about the ease, the flow, the alignment that comes with perfect timing. When you meet a moment at the right time, things move differently. Doors open without resistance. Paths become clear without confusion. What once felt complicated begins to feel natural, almost effortless. But when a moment is missed, that alignment shifts. The opportunity may still exist, but it no longer carries the same momentum. The path may still be there, but it may require more effort to reach. The clarity may still come, but it may not feel as immediate, as direct, as powerful as it would have in this exact moment. This is why timing matters. This is why awareness matters. This is why Archangel Michael's urgency is not just about what is coming. It is about when it is coming. Because what is forming around you right now is aligned with this moment, not a future one. It is prepared for who you are right now, where you are right now, and what you are ready for right now. And if you delay, if you hesitate, if you allow this moment to pass without responding, the alignment begins to adjust. Not because it is taken from you, but because it cannot remain in the same position indefinitely. This is something many people struggle to understand. They believe that if something is meant for them, it will always be there, unchanged, waiting for them to arrive whenever they decide. But that belief overlooks one important truth. Timing is part of what makes something meant for you. Without timing, alignment does not exist. Without alignment, the experience changes. And that is what you risk missing, not the possibility, but the precision. The way everything comes together at exactly the right time, in exactly the right way, with exactly the right flow. If this moment passes, you may still move forward. You may still find your way. But it will not be the same moment. It will not carry the same energy, the same clarity, the same immediate transformation that is available to you right now. And that is what Michael is trying to protect. He is not warning you because something will be lost forever. He is warning you because something powerful is available now, in a way that will not remain unchanged. This is not about pressure. This is about opportunity. A rare, precise, time-sensitive opportunity that is already aligned, already forming, already ready to move into your life, but only if you meet it where it is. Because if you do not, it will continue moving, and you will find yourself looking back, realizing that you felt it, you sensed it, you knew something was happening, but you did not act when it mattered most. That realization carries weight. Not regret, but understanding. The understanding that you were aware, but you hesitated. That you were ready, but you delayed. That you were close, but you stepped back instead of forward. And that is what this moment is asking you to avoid. You are not here to repeat that pattern. You are not here to watch opportunities pass. You are not here to stay in the cycle of almost. You are here to step fully into what is being placed in front of you. Right now. Without delay. Without hesitation. With clarity. With awareness. With the understanding that this moment is not ordinary. It is decisive. So do not treat it lightly. Do not push it aside. Do not tell yourself you will return to it later. Because later is not this moment. And this moment is where everything is aligned. Choose to meet it. Choose to step into it. Choose to respond while everything is still in place. Because what comes next will reveal the protection that surrounds you and why you are not facing this moment alone. Type "I will not delay" in the comments if you are choosing to act within this moment. Blessing code 1010 is now sealing your timing with divine precision. You need to take a breath here because everything you have heard so far carries intensity, urgency, and weight. But there is something equally powerful, equally real, and equally present that you must not overlook. You are not standing in this moment alone. You are not exposed. You are not unguarded. Right now, in ways you cannot fully see but can begin to sense, there is protection surrounding you. Not distant protection. Not passive protection. Active, intentional, precise protection that has been placed around your life for this exact moment. Because when a moment carries this level of importance, when something this significant is forming, when your life is about to shift in a way that cannot be reversed, you are not left without support. You are not expected to navigate this blindly. You are not placed in the middle of pressure without covering. There is guidance around you. There is alignment around you. There is a presence around you that has been watching, adjusting, and protecting even when you were not aware of it. Think back for a moment. There have been situations where things could have gone differently, where outcomes could have shifted in ways that would have taken you further away from this moment. There have been moments where delays occurred, where plans changed unexpectedly, where something you thought you needed did not happen the way you expected. At the time, it may have felt frustrating. It may have felt confusing. It may have even felt like something was going wrong. But now, if you look at those moments differently, you begin to see something else. Redirection. Protection. Intervention. Because not everything that was prevented was a loss. Some things were blocked because they would have pulled you out of alignment with where you are now. Some delays were not setbacks. They were adjustments, ensuring that you would arrive at this exact moment in the right position, at the right time, with the right awareness. That is not coincidence. That is design. And that design does not stop. It is still active right now. Even as you feel the pressure, even as you recognize the urgency, even as you become aware of the resistance, you are still being guided. You are still being protected from what you do not need, from what would distract you, from what would pull you away from this alignment. But here is where you must understand something important. Protection does not remove your responsibility. It does not make decisions for you. It does not force you to act. It creates the environment where you can choose clearly, without unnecessary interference, without being completely overwhelmed by what is happening around you. That is what you are experiencing now. Clarity. Not perfect clarity, not complete understanding of everything, but enough clarity to recognize that this moment matters, that something is shifting, that something is calling you forward. That clarity is part of your protection. Because without it, you would not even recognize this moment for what it is. You would move through it the same way you have moved through countless other moments, unaware of what was available, unaware of what was forming, unaware of what was waiting for your response. But you are aware now, and that awareness is not something you created on your own. It was given. It was guided. It was allowed to reach you because you are meant to respond to it. This is why you must trust what you are feeling, even if you cannot explain it fully. This is why you must not dismiss the sense that something is different, that something is real, that something is happening beyond what you can see. Because it is, and you are being supported in it. Even now, as you stand in this moment, as you feel the weight of what is being asked of you, there is something holding you steady, something ensuring that you are not overwhelmed to the point of inaction, something keeping you aware enough to recognize what is happening, but not so burdened that you cannot respond. That balance is not accidental. It is intentional. You are being held in the exact position where you can choose. And that is the most powerful place you can be. Because you are not reacting blindly. You are not being pushed without understanding. You are being given the space, the clarity, and the support to make a conscious decision that aligns with what is already prepared for you. That is protection at its highest level. Not removing the moment, but preparing you to meet it. So do not mistake the intensity for abandonment. Do not mistake the pressure for lack of support. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. And everything around you right now is working to ensure that you can step into what is next with clarity, with confidence, and with the awareness that you are supported every step of the way. Because what comes next is the final call, the moment where everything must come together, the moment where hesitation can no longer exist. The moment where you either step fully into alignment or watch it pass. Stay present. Stay aware. Because the final message is coming. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you trust that you are being guided and supported in this moment. Blessing code 1111 is now surrounding you with divine covering and guidance. This is it. This is the moment everything has been leading to. Not another explanation. Not another sign. Not another delay. This is the point where everything becomes clear, where everything becomes real, where everything comes down to you and the decision you make right now. Archangel Michael is no longer watching from a distance. He is here. And his voice is no longer just urgent. It is pleading. Not because you are weak. Not because you are lost. But because you are standing at the exact point where your life can shift in a way that cannot be undone. And he knows how rare this moment is. He knows how precise this alignment is. He knows how everything has come together for you to arrive here, at this exact second, with this exact awareness, with this exact opportunity in front of you. And he also knows this is where most people turn away, not because they want to, but because they hesitate one last time. They think they need more time. They think they need more clarity. They think they need to feel more ready. And in that hesitation the moment passes. Not dramatically, not loudly, widely. And by the time they realize it, everything has already shifted. That is what he is trying to prevent for you. That is why his voice carries emotion. That is why he is not calm. Because he is looking at you, not where you have been, not what you have gone through, but where you are standing right now. And he sees the miracle already reaching toward you. He sees the door already opening. He sees the shift already beginning. And he is calling you to step forward. Now, not later. Not after you think about it. Not after you analyze it one more time. Now, because everything is ready. Everything is aligned. Everything is waiting for your response. You are not being asked to understand everything. You are not being asked to control everything. You are being asked to trust what you already feel. To trust that inner knowing that has been guiding you. To trust that this moment is real. To trust that what is in front of you is not ordinary. Because it is not. This is the kind of moment that changes direction. The kind of moment that breaks patterns. The kind of moment that moves you out of cycles you have been in for far too long. But only if you step into it. Only if you respond. Only if you move forward without allowing hesitation to take control again. You have already seen the signs. You have already felt the shift. You have already recognized that something is different. Now is the time to act on it. Because once you do, everything begins to move. Not slowly. Not gradually. Immediately. The moment you decide, the moment you step forward, the moment you align with what has already been prepared, everything responds. The path opens. The clarity sharpens. The resistance weakens. And what once felt distant becomes real. That is how close you are. That is how ready this is. That is how important this moment is. And that is why Archangel Michael is not silent. That is why he is calling you with everything he has. Because he refuses to watch you stand at the edge of your breakthrough and walk away. So hear this clearly. Do not hesitate. Do not delay. Do not step back. Step forward. Right now. Because the window is still open. But it will not remain open forever. And this is your moment to step through it. Type "I step forward" now in the comments if you are choosing to act without hesitation. Blessing code 1212 is now sealing your alignment and activating your breakthrough. And as you step into this moment, understand this truth: your action does not end with you. Every seed you release becomes a flame that ignites faith in someone else who is still waiting in darkness. This mission is not about a platform. It is about souls being reached at the exact second heaven calls their name. The word speaks, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." And right now that promise is alive over your life. If you feel this stirring within you, this is your moment to respond, not casually, but prophetically. Your giving through the PayPal link in the description, or the QR code on your screen, becomes a river that carries this message further than you can see. I declare over you now, as you release your seed, heaven releases acceleration, favor, and unexpected provision back into your life. Do not hold back. Step into obedience, give with intention, and become a vessel through which God reaches countless others right now.